Hi all, this is Skate, and this is the T49. None other than the American tier-light derp gun monster, basically. And I adore this tank. In fact, when I've had a couple of hours playing Blitz, or even half an hour, I will pretty much always end my nights playing one tank. And that one tank is this. And purely because, fun factor. There's not many tanks in the game that can offer you light tank gameplay, which involves being quite aggressive with spotting, or taking early positions, spotting targets, and then launching a giant 152mm HE shell, and then sort of starting to combine a slightly watered down KV2 style gameplay. And for that, it is fun. Now, we all know that Tier 8 is plagued with premium heavy tanks and lots of IS range tanks and lots of heavily armoured tanks, which sadly are not the easiest thing to deal with in this tank. In an ideal world, what you want is something like an SP1C sitting on a ridge right in front of you and not reversing quick enough. So you can do that, destroy 4 modules, and put a huge shell straight into him. But that doesn't always happen, because it's Tier 8 and there are loads and loads of heavy tanks at Tier 8. But that's not to say this makes this a non-fun tank. It makes or provides a challenge, which again adds to the excitement and the fun. So it can be a challenging tank to play. It is a challenging tank to play on times. But it's very rewarding and it's very, very amusing. Yes, I could go rock out in something IS range and I could probably get something near on 10% higher win rate in that tank than I could in this. But I'll smile a lot more in this and I'll have a lot more fun in this. And if I lose a game, well, as long as I had some fun while playing it, I don't actually care in the slightest. I really don't. And we tend to lose sight of that and get a little bit too obsessed with gotta win this, gotta win that, gotta get my average damage up, gotta get my spots up, or whatever your personal target is. We do lose sight of that, and sometimes you just gotta play a tank a little bit stupid. I think my favourite thing, though, is knowing how salty people get when you have an itty bitty little T49 do tremendous amounts of damage to them, as this Centurion is about to confirm. Now, in terms of gameplay, we are a tank down. We also have 3 tanks left on our team. They have 4. I have the 3 kills. I'm aiming for the engine deck. I get the engine deck and finish it off. Pay attention to the chat now. Now I'm in a 1 versus 3. And that Centurion is not happy. And that Borsig didn't have the gun depression to deal with me. And we finish him with a fire. I don't care if I lose at this point, because I just annoyed the hell out of the Centurion, and I had a bit of fun with the Borsig. And now the Centurion wants to report me. I love military honour. But this is fun. I've had fun playing this game. I've killed 5. There's 2 left. I was in a 1 versus 3. And there's 2 IS tanks left, one of them being very, very full health. And I did not care in the slightest that the Centurion wanted to report me. Not one bit of me. I actually just found it highly amusing, and during this part of the gameplay I was still laughing because of how salty someone gets. Now, I've taken advantage of that IS going up to try and deal with this IS down here. I'm waiting for heat to go on the butt, and here is my fatal mistake. I should have gone straight around and stuck with that IS there, and then he wouldn't have been able to do that to me. If I stayed circling him, I would have had no problem at all. But according to that Centurion, that makes me a noob. I would just like to point out, on loss, this noob had 6 kills, 4,692 damage, and I had fun, so I don't care. Yeah, I could be a bit disappointed because, well, I could have had 7 kills, and that would have been nigh on 6,000 if I managed to take that guy's health. But at the end of the day, I didn't. So there's no point getting hung up on it. And I did give the mouthy Centurion a downvote, and I moved on and forgot about it. That kind of does highlight the problem with military honour to a degree as well. There are many problems with military honour. I think it's a bit of a useless system in all honesty, but there we go. I'm not going to go on about that in this video because, well, it's irrelevant from the video, but I should do one on that actually. I haven't really gone through many stats on the tank in this video either, and the reason being, I've already done numerous T49 videos, including one in a fair bit of depth on the tank. And although the tank has been nerfed, the gameplay hasn't changed that much. In fact at all, my gameplay remains the same in this tank. I will try my best to spot early, like a light tank should. I will play the baiting game, or I'll play the sneaky game, and try and hurt things with huge amounts of damage, like that RU. Again, if I die now, I am happy, I do not care. However, T43 on my team is trying to address the enemy T44. He needs some assistance. I'm looking for that engine deck, and there goes a nice big hit. T43 can now finish off the T44. If I'm honest, I don't think if we were there, he would have been able to finish him off. He would have died. But now the T69's on a reload, which means I can do this to the rear end of him. So 3 shots, huge amounts of damage already. Now he is on a reload, so I'm getting straight down underneath the gun depression and avoiding the RU-251 at the same time. But I'm going to pop back up and see if I can deal with the RU before he has managed to run away, as long as I don't drift and slide for too long. And he hasn't got away yet, and we're going to get one in, and we are going to finish him off. Then next on the agenda is the guy who's just taken a huge chunk out of me. I say huge chunk, 224. The J-Panther. And I'm going to make a beeline directly for him. I am a light tank, so I should be playing the patient game, so to speak, but sometimes it is worth trading the hit points to deal with a tank. And making a beeline directly for someone like that means that they're kind of stuck against a building and can't address you. But I am now on the back end of 3 heavy tanks on the red team, which pretty much means butt shots for me, which is just going to be nom into the back of these guys. Now, I am waiting around for a second shot on the KV-4, but I've just realised someone set him on fire, and he's really low on hit points. And we all know how annoying it is to watch a tank burn and somebody ninja the last 10 hit points for the kill. So I thought I'd leave him. Instead, I'm going to go and distract this Tier 7 Premium American Heavy. Now, it is a heavy, but it's American. So the back end on it, as we all know, is ridiculously weak. Again, trade some hit points, and now I can just circle at my leisure, wait for the shot, and put it right into the back for 862 damage. And now as long as I pull in close, I can circle round him all day long. In fact, I'm waiting for his gun to catch up so he doesn't start swinging the other way. And then one more heat round finishes him for 438. And that, to me, is the pinnacle example of an amusing T49 game. Pretty much doing huge damage with every shot, which gives us 4,845 damage. And it was funny, and it no saltiness, sadly, this game, though. But it does mean 1,331 base XP, 3 kills, and, well, we annoyed some people, I imagine. So the first game, we've had a lot of, high damage rolls from penetrations on engine decks, but then we've also had lots of splash damage rolls. Then the second game was just flat out funny, if you ask me. And then this third game, well, there's a lot more tier 9s, and some of them are very heavily armoured, which means my heat is seriously going to struggle against them. So I need to play this one with a bit more tact. And I'm doing what I always try to do because, well, I am in a light tank. I was trying to spot up without going YOLO head first, and that T54 had loads of room to go around me, but for some reason reversed into me. I wasn't going to move because I was waiting for that shot, not that specific shot, any shot I could get at that point in time. And if you do rewind the video, watch it again, you'll notice he actually reversed and turned into my direction. Of all the directions he could have gone, yeah. The reason I wanted to sit still, there was my camo value. I could use that to my advantage to get a big shot in before being spotted. Now here's the thing with the T49, big old long reload. I don't want to get overrun in that position, which is why I've gone back to a position I can play at a little bit more range. But I don't want to go too far back and abandon my team buddies. Also, you'll notice in any of my T49 gameplay, I will do everything I can to make sure I have cover between reloads. Either that, or I will look for a get in, get out situation. So you bolt it in, penetrate something. If you can't circle it or there's other tanks shooting at you, you are still a light tank at the end of the day. It's at that point you run away. After around 15 seconds, make your way back. It really annoys people for you to just appear, do 600 or 800 damage, and then run away again. It really annoys people a lot, actually. I'm looking for the side shot with heat there, but I didn't think I'd reliably get it from that range on that tank, so I just changed the HE in the end to make sure I did something at least. But if I was down there against all those tanks, you could virtually guarantee they're all going to spam HE at me, and they're going to look at me because I'm a light tank with a really, really nasty gun. And that's pretty much how it always works with those sorts of tanks. That, I was hoping, would penetrate. The side of a T-34-2, you can penetrate no problem at all. At that range, though, I'm guessing it didn't go where we wanted it to. Now, as long as he doesn't move too quickly, I could have got a nice heat shot, but I couldn't. Instead, I can get a nice HE shot into this guy and hopefully finish him off. No. Oh, the joys of the T-49. Very, very low on hit points, and I don't finish him off. Glorious. But he's not moving because of the tortoise on his right, our left. So it means I can load in time and deal with him. Now, as it stands, if you look at the minimap, it's just me and that tortoise. On the other side of the map is the Jagdtiger. So this guy I really cannot leave with no support. But you can see they are looking at me now. But you'll also notice that there was a little medium tank that was making a break for it, which means we have the opportunity to get him out in the open before he gets to the back of the tortoise. And I bounce. And you'll notice I hit my adrenaline straight away because I don't want that T-44 completely obliterating and distracting the tortoise. Which is why I'll deal the T-44, and you'll notice he's managed to keep his armor to the front of that 704. Problem I've got now, though, is the tortoise has a lot more armor, and I do need to help this guy, but in doing so and running out like an absolute headless chicken, what's going to happen is he's going to turn to me and he's going to put a big old shot directly into me. Like that. But now he's shot, it means I can quite comfortably and quite confidently get straight onto the back of this tank. And put a nice big shell into him. Here comes the tortoise, finishes him off, but while doing so, the full health enemy T-34 is going to address our tortoise. There it is. So although I have a Jagdtiger on my team still, on full hit points I believe, or thereabouts, you'll notice he hasn't moved much. So it is kind of on me versus this T-34. This is going to be fun. I put a shell into him then, did very, very little damage, and now it's time to play the good old fun game of round and round the garden. Well, that's what the T-34 is going to do anyway, which is glaringly obvious, and when you're in a tank which doesn't need to penetrate, you'd kind of hope that you could track it by hitting it with HE like that, but I didn't. But he also has a long reload, which gives me the opportunity to go entirely round the building and get one directly into the back of his tank. Now, even if he hit me with that shot, I could have afforded that shot off him. Basically, I can afford one shot and keep hit points. But taking the opportunity while he was on a reload means I could get in close and do that 785 damage to the squishiest part of his American butt. The problem I've got now is whichever direction I come from being spotted, he knows where I'm coming from, which means he will get a shot into me, and I won't reliably penetrate his frontal armor. What I did then was reverse to reset my camo value and hopefully creep around him, but I wasn't expecting him to appear straight away. I did manage to track him, and he did shoot. And you'll notice I tried to run away, then I had a change of heart and went, do you know what, no, I'm getting in close. And that means I did manage to finish this guy off. And as we did so, there is the Jagdtiger. So we still did spotting in that game, or at least attempted to, and then we went for the reserved gameplay, and then we did go in and help the tortoise as well. That meant on that game, we did 4,323 damage, 3 kills, 1,354 base XP. All in all, not really a review of the tank. I've already got a couple on the channel, actually, on this tank. More than anything, I just wanted to share some gameplay, and basically, we just need to remember sometimes that play a tank because it's fun, and it's a bit stupid to play, not just because you want to improve a win rate. You might find that in doing so, you'll actually have more fun and improve your win rate anyway. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed these games though. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye bye.